Hello and welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be playing Izzet Steel Cutter. So this is a unique form of Affinity where you're playing the Mox Opals and the Mishra's Baubles and, some of your other typical things that you find in Affinity. But it's kind of in a little bit of a different fashion where you're playing with Tamiyo and Emry. Emry's should be over here with the 1-drops because, let's be honest, this is a 1-drop legendary. So just kind of getting into what each of those are. For those who don't know, Tamiyo is a 1-mana planeswalker, but it starts as a creature. Flying, attacks, you investigate, and whenever you draw your 3rd card in a turn, you exile Tamiyo, then return her to the battlefield transformed under her owner's control. And then on the flip side, its uptick decreases the power of opposing creatures. Its downtick returns instants and sorcerer cards from your graveyard to your hand. And its ultimate for its -7 is you draw half of your library rounded down. So pretty strong, and in this deck you can get it to transform pretty easily as early as turn 2. You could go turn 1, Mishra's Bauble, Tamiyo, crack the Bauble during your opponent's turn, you'll draw on your upkeep, Tamiyo attack, you sacrifice the clue, there's your 3rd draw there, transforms Tamiyo turn 2. You could go double Mishra's Bauble turn 1, you could go for a Thoughtcast on turn 2. Got a few different ways of getting to the Tamiyo flip on turn 2. Then we also have Emry, Lurker the Loch, 2 and a blue, but it has affinity for artifacts. And with affinity as low as 2, this is normally just a 1-mana 1/2. Whenever it enters, you mill 4, and then you can tap it to choose an artifact card in your graveyard, and you can cast that card this turn. So you can get back your Baubles over and over again to incur a lot of value. You can get back Amber and Opal to try to ramp a little bit. You can get back some of your silver bullets like Tormod's Crypt, Aether Spellbomb, and Shadowspear. You can get back your Cori-Steel Cutters, which we'll be getting into in a moment. You can even get back Kappa Cannoneer, so if you milled over a Kappa Cannoneer, or if somehow your opponent destroyed a Kappa Cannoneer, you can get back Kappa Cannoneer. And then one of the 2 big threats for the deck is Cori-Steel Cutter, so for 1 and a red, it's got Flurry, so whenever you cast your 2nd spell in a turn, you create a 1/1 monk with Prowess, and then you attach the equipment to it. The equipment gives +1/+1 trample and haste, and you can equip it for 2. Sometimes you'll just use this as an equipment to give your stuff haste. It's really good to give Emry haste, so you can go ahead and get back something from the graveyard. It's good to give Kappa Cannoneer haste to go ahead and be attacking in, but most of the time you're just trying to double spell and hit the opponent really hard, really fast. You've got a lot of ways to double spell turn 2. You've got 12 0-drops. If you have Amber Opal out the turn before, you have a bunch of 1-drops that you can cast into it. Multiple Cori-Steel Cutters together tend to go pretty insane. Our other threat for the deck needs no introduction, Kappa Cannoneer. 1-mana ward 4 whenever it or another artifact enters, put a counter on it and it can't be blocked. Huge unblockable threat, very difficult to kill. We're playing Thoughtcast to draw some extra cards, Metallic Rebuke to counter spells, Flame of Anor to either draw 2 cards, destroy an artifact, or deal 5 damage to target artifact or target creature. And pretty easy to turn on because both Tamiyo and Emry are both wizards. We're playing 3 Unholy Heat for creature removal. Repeal works really well in this deck because what you can do is you can tap an Amber or Mox Opal for mana, return the Opal or Amber back to hand using the Repeal, and then you can just cast the Mox Amber or Mox Opal again. And this works particularly well with Cori-Steel Cutter because 1, it turns on the Flurry very easily, and 2, because of the prowess on the tokens, if you can chain a few Repeals and Mox Opals and Mox Ambers and stuff, you can go for lethal insanely quick. Speaking of which, Mox Opal, Mox Amber for mana, Mishra's Bauble, just 0-mana artifact that can cycle itself. For the lands, we're playing 1 Fiery Islet in case we gas out, 1 Island, 1 Minamo, School of Water's Edge. This untaps legendary permanent, so in some circumstances you'll untap Tamiyo to block with, but most of the time you're untapping Emry to get back additional cards from the graveyard. So maybe you play Bauble, Bauble the opponent, tap Emry, get back Bauble, Bauble the opponent again, and then you'll Minamo, untap Emry, get back that Bauble again. So now you're drawing 3 cards off 1 Bauble. Playing 1 Mountain, 1 Otawara to bounce certain things back to hand. 4 Scalding Tarn, a Spirebluff Canal, 2 Steam Vents, Thundering Falls to Seville, and 4 Urza Sagas because this is an affinity deck at the end of the day. For the sideboard, counter spells, miscast, mystical dispute, force negation, 3 fire magic to remove creatures, 2 Vandal Blast for artifacts, 2 Blood Moons for Eldrazi and Titan decks, and then 3 Torpor Orbs for Blink decks. You'll notice the list is just a little different than what I have posted down in the description. The description has the good version of this deck. You should be on 4 Consign to Memories and 2 Force Negations and stuff like that. But because of the ticks limit that my account has, I had to just find some replacements. And hopefully it won't mess us up in this league. Well, I've been talking about this deck long enough. Let's hop into some games. Alright, this hand is a bit slow. We're going to mulligan it. This hand's quite a bit better. We'll keep. We're actually just going to chuck the Shadowspear to bottom. Alright, let's lead off Scalding Tarn. Go ahead and grab a Steam Vents. Play out Tamiyo. And then we'll go for Mishra's Bauble. Oh, Archive Trap. Okay. So I think we're playing against Meal. I'll play out Mishra's Bauble so that way we can flip the Tamiyo next turn. Oops, meant to do this in upkeep. I guess we'll see their next draw. Alright. Okay, just a land from the opponent. We draw. Versus Saga. Back the opponent. And then we can correct the clue, which will then flip Tamiyo. Uptick Tamiyo, and go ahead and pass to the opponent. Okay, they mill us for another 10. Down to 27 here. There's the Saga triggers. Let's go ahead and play out the Tormod's Crypt. Play out the Mox Opal. And then let's go ahead and downtick this and get back a Metallic Rebuke. And then pass it to the opponent, and now we'll just start countering whatever they play. Okay, Visions of Beyond. I think we'll go ahead and counter that. Oh, well, they just had a second one. Alright, so let's float a mana here. Let's grab a Mox Amber. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're still not quite there for the Kappa Cannoneer, which is unfortunate. Oh man, another Archive Trap. Let's just counter this. Okay, let's draw a few cards. Okay, and we'll pass it to the opponent. We're getting a bit hurt on mana here. Okay, they Surgical Extraction Repeal. Not the biggest issue in the world. I think for games 2 and 3, we just need to mulligan into a really aggressive hand with Cori-Steel Cutters. Here comes a Tasha's Hideous Laughter, which just exiled the rest of our deck. Yeah, our deck is a little weak to Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Alright, opponent gets this one. Alright, let's see what we've got in the sideboard. Alright, here I think we got a Tormod's Crypt, Aether Spellbomb, and Shadowspear for 3 Mystical Dispute, a Force of Negation, and a Miscast. Alright, this hand looks fine, we'll keep. It's like, admittedly a little slow, but I think we can get it to work. Play that out, say go. Alright, here's the Hedron Crab. Okay, let's actually take it a not quite go for the Urza Saga yet. Let's go ahead and play out a Cori-Steel Cutter. And then next turn we'll Cori-Steel Cutter plus Emry. Okay, opponent goes ahead and tries to make sure we don't have access to a Tamiyo. Alright, so we're already down to about half of our library. This is a very good mill player here. Alright, let's lead off Urza Saga. Let's go Cori-Steel Cutter. Emry. Unfortunately, that does mill us some. But we can start getting value out of our Emry next turn. Alright, opponent's got the Field of Ruin. And they go ahead and hit our Urza Saga. Do we still have basics? We do. Alright. So grab an island, it's on to them. And then it looks like they're just going to pass it back to us. Alright, so here we can get the monk tokens pretty big. Let's start by getting back a... Ooh. Yeah, let's start by getting back a Cori-Steel Cutter. Triggers these monks. And we can cast a Mox Opal, trigger them all. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're not quite there for Kappa Cannoneer. We can cast a Thoughtcast for 1. Which again, triggering all the monks. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just go ahead and Unholy Heat the Crab. Okay, and opponent concedes it to us there. We're just going to run it back. Second verse, same as the first. Unfortunately, I think the mana's lacking on this one, so we're going to mulligan. And this is a little better. We'll put back... Question is, do we put back redundant Tamiyo or redundant Mox Opal? I'll put back the Tamiyo. Alright, weeds off crab, passes it to us. So we can play out the Otawara, play out the Tamiyo. Mox Opal plus Mox Amber wouldn't be enough, so we'll just... Actually, we'll go ahead and play the Mox Amber so that way we can hold up the Mystical Dispute and then pass it on to the opponent. Okay, opponent's going for a crab here. Let's just go ahead and counter. I think this crab's going to represent quite a bit of mill over the course of the game. Because like this turn alone, it would have been milling for 6. And then another fetch land means 12. The crabs, I think people really underestimate how much the crabs do in this matchup. Okay, now the Mox Opal can tap for mana. Is this a may or a must? I think it's a must. Yeah, I kind of don't want to flip the Tamiyo yet, but do think I want to draw the 2 cards, though. Alright, and double Cori-Steel Cutter is pretty fire. Milling us for a few more here. Alright, so we'll go ahead and uptick the Tamiyo. Shock and a Steam Vents, and we'll go ahead and play Cori-Steel Cutter and pass it back to the opponent. And then hopefully next turn we get to go pretty crazy with the Cori-Steel Cutters. Okay, they Surgical Extraction the Unholy Heat. Alright, opponent's passing it back to us. Ooh, another Cori-Steel Cutter. So let's go ahead and downtick Tamiyo, get back one of these. So we can either grab back the Mystical Dispute or the Metallic Rebuke. I think in this situation I kind of like the Metallic Rebuke a little bit better. Let's go ahead and play a Cori-Steel Cutter. Okay, and then let's go for another Cori-Steel Cutter. This is going to trigger the originals. Feels like a consigned memory here, maybe? Yeah, so they're going to stop us from making the tokens this turn. So originally the plan was to go ahead and play this Mox Opal to leave up Metallic Rebuke and trigger the original Cori-Steel Cutters, but I think we're just going to pass it back to the opponent here and save the Mox Opal so that way we can double spell next turn. Okay, opponent, Field of Ruins are Steam Vents. Grab the mountain here. Down to about half of our library here, but we do have 3 Cori-Steel Cutters out on the battlefield. A Surgical Extraction, a Kappa Cannoneer. That's fine. Okay. So here, let's correct the clue token. Okay, we draw Thoughtcast. We've got enough out here. Let's just go for the Thoughtcast. And then we can go ahead and play out Mox Opal, which will trigger all the Cori-Steel Cutters. Keep this one. And then now we've got blue mana up, so now we can go for the Urza Saga. And we'll attack the opponent with everything we've got for now. Down to 11. We've got Mystical Dispute and Metallic Rebuke up right now. Okay, opponent cycles a Fractured Sanity. There's not much we can do about them cycling it. Alright, looks like opponent's just missing their land drop here. Okay, so we're a little out of spells to cast. What we could do is downtick and kill Tamiyo to get back a Thoughtcast, and hopefully that'll draw us into something. I think that's exactly what we're going to try for here. Oh, or hindsight. Oh, we probably should have floated the mana off of this first. Whoops. So trigger all the monks. And if we somehow don't draw anything here, we're in pretty bad position. Okay, cool. We draw some other stuff. So let's play out Fiery Islet. Let's go for the Tamiyo. This will trigger all of them. So it does get our spells up in that respect. They're all just 2/2s though. What we can do here is throw out a Hail Mary, go for the Emry, and then attempt to Mystical Dispute it. Which I think is exactly what we're going to do here. Oh, I had to hold control on that. Whoops. Okay. Well, that just got a lot worse for us. We could move a Cori-Steel Cutter over to an Emry and then use Emry's ability to cast something from graveyard and then try to counter that. So let's do that. Sometimes this deck just feels like some arithmetic. Okay, we gotta hold control. I guess we can activate first. Doesn't really matter which one we do, we'll just target the Mishra's Bauble. Okay, now we hold control. And then... opponent concedes it there. Alright, GG opponent. Round the play, we're going to keep our 7 here. Just a 10 slow, but I think we can make it work. Turn 3, we get to start making guys. Alright, so just lead off on the Thundering Falls here. And we'll actually keep this Mishra's Bauble on top, onto the opponent. Okay, and looks like we're playing against Prowess here. Let's lead off on Minamo. Go for Cori-Steel Cutter here, and then we can go ahead and Mishra's Bauble, because next turn... I don't know, we need another red mana to also Unholy Heat next turn. Let's hold off for a turn and ensure that we can get the Cori-Steel Cutter to pop off. Might be a little bit of a risk against them considering they can be so fast, but... worst case scenario, we have Unholy Heat, we've got Metallic Rebuke. Maybe we take a turn off to just try to control them out. Alright, opponent's setting up their hands here. They scry 2 to bottom. This time they scry 2 to top. Alright, we take some damage there. Let's go Urza Saga. And then we can actually try to get Shadowspear as quickly as possible here too. Play the Cori-Steel Cutter. Play the Mishra's Bauble. And then we have the option to Mox Amber here, but I think I prefer just attack out and then save the Mox Amber so that way we can get more tokens next turn. And then we've still got the Metallic Rebuke up here. Okay, opponent attempts to go for a Monastery Swift Spear. I think I'm fine just countering it. Feels like a permission spell, but probably fine. I think we can just keep their creatures off the board. We'll probably be sitting fine. Okay, opponent was able to put a Lava Dart into the graveyard. Here comes DRC. Okay, we're only taking 1 here. Okay, just a mountain coming for the opponent. Okay, Tormod's Crypt is perfect here. Let's go Tormod's Crypt. Let's go ahead and go Mox Opal. And then go ahead and go for the Mox Amber. I think here we might just be able to win this turn. I don't know, I'm not really a math guy. So go to combat. Attack with all. And then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's Unholy Heat now. Alright, and opponent concedes it there. GG. Let's see what we've got in the sideboard. Here, I think our deck is pretty situated to deal with creature-based aggro decks, so we're just going to bring in 1 Miscast, 1 Force of Negation, and 2 Fire Magics, cutting 2 Kappa Cannoneer and 2 Thoughtcast. We don't have a ton of aggression here, but we do have a ton of interaction for the opponent. I think I'm willing to keep here. Okay, here's a DRC. So we can play out Minamo. Go ahead and Tamiyo. And then we can go ahead and actually still hold up a Metallic Rebuke here. Playing out everything. And then just pass it on to the opponent here. Okay, so now we have to debate how much we're worried about a second DRC. I think it's more worth it to counter the creatures most of the time. So go ahead and counter there. Opponent fetches. Okay, and this time they're going for a Lightning Bolt. Unfortunately targeting Tamiyo. Not much we can do there. We just take 1 off the DRC. What we can do now is just start drawing here. Okay, we find an Emry. Emry's pretty good here. Let's go ahead and cast Emry. No artifacts in grave, but we still have the Mishra's Bauble, which we can get back with Emry. Play out the Mox Opal again. If we want to, we could just cycle this Repeal here, which I think is what we're going to do. Okay, get the Mox Opal out again. Go ahead and go for an Aether Spellbomb. And onto the opponent. Okay, Cori-Steel Cutter from the opponent. So we can just take that, I suppose. And here comes a Monastery Swiftspear. They've got the Monk token now. And then here, opponent's forced to attack. We can Tormod's Crypt them, hope that they don't have anything in hand, and then block with the Emry. Oh, I was supposed to Tormod Crypt them first. That sucks. So I was supposed to do this during their declare attack step. Go ahead and fire it off here. Okay, they got a lightning bolt coming. Okay, so we draw a couple of lands here. To use this, get back the Mishra's Bauble. And then we can play out the Urza Saga here. And we can go ahead and Flame of Anor to hit 2 of their creatures here. So let's cast this. We'll destroy the Cori-Steel Cutter and blow up the... Let's go for the Monastery Swiftspear here. And then we'll pass it to the opponent. Go ahead and just draw in their upkeep. We know it's the Lightning Bolt still coming. Oh, Expressive Iteration. That was a pretty good last card for the opponent to have in hand. They do have to try to outrace this Urza Saga, though, because this Urza Saga, what we're going to try to do with it is just start making constructs and then go for a Shadowspear. Okay, opponent gets a Monastery Swiftspear. They attack for 4. So down to 12 with us. We get another turn with our Emry here. So we'll play out the Spirebluff Canal. Here I've got to figure out, do I want to go for Tormod's Crypt or Mishra's Bauble? I think we're just trying to lower them down on Delirium here. So we'll go ahead and cast the Tormod's Crypt. And then now we can hold up Aether Spellbomb as well as making a construct. We'll just go ahead and pass it here. Okay, land for the opponent. Go ahead and grab Thundering Falls. Put a Mishra's Bauble in grave. So now we let them attack. We go for our construct. And then here's where we've kind of got to debate some things, because the construct is going to go down to a 2/2 here. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do some things. So, blue, sacrifice this, return the monk token, which is going to destroy the monk token. Okay, they go ahead and cast Lightning Bolt on the construct. And because of this, we might just... So we're set to take 4 here. We can lower it down to 3. Let's go ahead and Tormod's Crypt them. And then opponent has Lava Dart. Lava Dart going at the Emry, so they're willing to sacrifice a mountain to kill the Emry here. So we have backup Emry in hand, so that's not the biggest problem for us. And now opponent's empty-handed. We get to go ahead and make a construct here. We'll grab Shadowspear. And then here, we could either cast out like the Tamiyo or the Emry, or we could shock in the Steam Vents and equip the Shadowspear, which I think is what I prefer to do here. And on to the opponent. Okay, opponent just draws a Mishra's Bauble here. Yeah, and opponent can't take an attack because the construct has lifelink. It's also just bigger than their creatures. Okay, so here we can start playing out some more of our hand. So here goes Tamiyo. Here goes Emry. Get to some more cards in graveyard. And then here I think I'm okay going ahead and attacking with the construct. Sacrifice their Fiery Islet, trying to find something here. They take 8, we're up to 9. What we can do is go ahead and move this Shadowspear over to the Emry. Or maybe we just leave it be for now. I think opponent's going to be pretty difficult for them to get us down to 0 from 9 here. Okay, Cori-Steel Cutter. I imagine opponent will have second spell here. Land. They have to attack with the DRC. Nothing we can really do. Oh, we can block. Do I want to block? We'll take it this turn. Okay, here we draw a Mox Amber. We could go ahead and buy back a Cori-Steel Cutter if we wanted. We could buy back... I think buying back Tormod's Crypt or Aether Spellbomb is probably our best shot. We can actually buy back 2 things because of the Minamo. So here, let's buy back Tormod's Crypt and Aether Spellbomb. I just want to make sure we can stay in the green. So cast the Mox Amber. Target this. Grab the Tormod's Crypt. Go ahead and cast Tormod's Crypt. Activate this to untap. We'll grab back Aether Spellbomb this time. Cast the Aether Spellbomb. And opponent concedes it there. GG, opponent. Yeah, this is a fine hand. We got some control. We've got a Tamiyo. Let's see where it goes. Our opponent had to mulligan to 6, by the way. Oh, and Bolt Wave. Are we playing against Burn here? Burn in our year of the Lord and Savior 2025? I'm thinking here whether we try to cast the Mox Opal or not. Probably not. Let's cycle with the Mishra's Bauble. Go ahead and see what else they're working with. Okay, Lava Spike, yeah. All you, opponent. They Searing Blazed us. Tamiyo's gone. No creatures on their end, though. Let's go ahead and cast another Mishra's Bauble, cast Mox Opal, we'll play the... Yeah, we'll play the Minamo here. Then we'll pass it on to them. This lets us hold up Unholy Heat and Metallic Rebuke. Okay, here's an Eidolon. I think we're going to Metallic Rebuke that one. Like, yeah, it was a creature to Unholy Heat, but we would have been taking 2 off the Unholy Heat anyways. Okay, and we've got another Searing Blaze coming, so creatures are no longer safe, but they do kind of need another land to get it going, though. Okay, let's... Just play Steam Vents tapped, and we'll hold up a Metallic Rebuke again, I suppose. Okay, another Eidolon, another Metallic Rebuke. Cycle the Repeal here. Okay, Kappa Cannoneer might be a little slow here. We're drawing the Oops All Spells part of our deck. Okay, opponent found land. Okay, they go ahead and Lava Spike us. And Boros Charm, okay. So they've just got a Searing Blaze left in hand. We're at 7 here. There's Urza's Saga. We're gonna hope that they don't just draw land off top here. Oh, we already played land this turn. Alright, on to the opponent. Okay, nothing from the opponent here. Oh, maybe yes? Okay, they're sacrificing the Sunbaked Canyon. Plays an Inspiring Vantage. Okay, we could make Construct here, but Kappa Cannoneer I think is going to be a bit better, so let's just play out the Otawara. And an almost fully costed Kappa Cannoneer coming here. And then on to the opponent. And then if opponent can't kill us here, we've got Shadowspear next turn, and we should hopefully be able to run away with the game with that. Okay, Lightning Bolt, and then we know the last card in hand, Searing Blaze. So we are free to make a token off of this. Triggers the Kappa. Grab Shadowspear. Trigger Kappa, we'll go ahead and equip. Cast out a Bauble. Go ahead and just go for the Emry here. Attack for 9 lifelink. Put us back up to 13. Opponent down to 5. And then now I think they're going to be pretty hard-pressed to be able to win here. Yeah, Monastery Swiftspear means nothing to us. Alright, that's game 1. Let's see what we've got in the sideboard. Alright, here I don't think we need a lot for this match. We'll bring in Miscast and Force of Negation and cut a Tormod's Crypt and a Kappa Cannoneer. Might be some argument for the fire magics, but I think they might be just a little slow. Okay, we can lead off on an early Urza Saga here. Unfortunately, we don't have access to our Unholy Heat, but I think it'll be okay. Opponent shocks on a Sacred Founder and goes for a Monastery Swiftspear. Down to 19 for us. So we'll play Island. I think maybe we go ahead and cycle the Mox Opal. Okay, we didn't find anything good there. Yeah, we'll just pass it on to the opponent. So at this point, we just need to figure out how to make it to turn 4. Okay, Lava Spike. Go down to 14. And then opponent's missing land drop here. We get to go... Oh, now it's difficult. I think we'll hold up a Mox Opal here. Or hold up a Metallic Rebuke, rather. So we could go for Emry here, but... Again, end of the day, I think the Metallic Rebuke's probably going to be a little bit better for us here. Okay, here's another Monastery Swiftspear. We'll just counter. So it might be the only thing they can play this turn. And we're going to get hit for 1. And then here we could shock in the Steam Vents to try to Unholy Heat this. I think we're okay just playing out the Otawara. And then passing it to the opponent. Okay, here's another Monastery Swiftspear. Do we think they're on any free spells? I'm going to venture no. Don't think Burn's typically on any free spells. Let's block and try to kill one of these. Okay, excellent for us. Okay, we can go ahead and make another construct, because with the Mox Opal we'll have enough mana to equip the Shadowspear. We will shut this in, but now we get to equip here. We could go ahead and play other Mox Opal and go ahead and Unholy Heat the current Monastery Swiftspear. I'm not sure how much we even care about the Monastery Swiftspear at this point. Maybe we just play another threat like Emry or Tamiyo. Gives them something to hit though. You know what, we'll just go for the Unholy Heat. And go in on the attacks. On to the opponent. We're at 15. Okay, opponent finds second land. It's a Barbarian Ring, though. Okay, smash to smithereens the Shadowspear is actually pretty good for them. So here we can kind of play out our hand. So we can go for Emry. And then next turn we can get back the Shadowspear with Emry. Go for the Tamiyo. Play out Mox Amber. I'll attack the opponent for 8 here. And then we can hold up a Repeal. Okay, Lightning Bolt. Lightning Bolt. Okay, but I doubt they can do anything about these constructs, right? Do we... Go ahead and get back the Shadowspear just in case. Okay, no, opponent concedes it there. GG, opponent, GG. A little awkward. We'll keep our 7, though. Tamiyo, Urza Saga, Mox Amber. I think we'll be okay. It's a real weird world here where I wonder if we go turn 1 Urza Saga. Because turn 2 we could play Tamiyo off of the Minamo and then go for double Mox Amber to be able to do the Urza Saga. I think we'll just keep things mostly normal here. On to the opponent. Carplucin Forest Chromatic Sphere. Mishra's Bauble. Okay. Not 100% sure what all that was about. Here... We could just draw off Tamiyo and see where we go from there. Let's do that. Okay. We can actually go ahead and just flip the Tamiyo here. And we draw an Emry. We actually can't play the Emry here because we've only got 1 artifact. Actually, good by sacrificing the Mox Amber. Let's actually do that. So sacrifice, play Mox Amber, keep this Mox Amber, tap that one for blue, play the Emry, and onto the opponent. Oh, and perfect. We flipped over some Mishra's Baubles. Speaking of which, opponent cracks their own Mishra's Bauble there. Okay, Eldrazi Temple. I imagine Glaring Fleshraker here? No, it's a Skittering Precursor. Okay, I saw Spike playing something with this. So whenever you sacrifice a non-token permanent, create a 0/1 Eldrazi spawn creature token with sacrifice this token, add colorless. So every time they sacrifice one of these, they get to make a spawn. I think they cycle through their deck. Forget exactly how the deck works. Okay, so we can go ahead and tap this, get back a Mishra's Bauble. Oh, did we have the option for the Mox Opal? I didn't see the Mox Opal there. Don't have enough to Unholy Heat this yet with the Tamiyo. We'll uptick Tamiyo. And then I suppose... So we've got these to make that, so we'll just play the Thundering Falls here. Put a Tormod's Crypt into the graveyard. And onto the opponent. Okay, opponent goes ahead and sacrifices, makes a spawn token. So in their upkeep, let's see what they're going to draw this turn. An Eldrazi Temple. Okay, 2 Eldrazi Temples is a little scary. Okay, Skittering Precursor number 2. So now they can sacrifice their Chromatic Sphere. They make 2 more spawns and they get more mana. So here they've got 5 mana at their disposal. Not too bad for turn 3 and already having out 2 3-drops. Skittering Precursor number 3, okay. If the opponent's some kind of combo deck, I think they're going to be able to go off somewhat easily with these Skittering Precursors. Okay, they're attacking the Tamiyo here. I think we're okay to just take it. I guess the Tamiyo's okay to just take it. And we'll just make a Saga token here on Instep. Now an opponent Kozilek's commands for X equals 0 to kill the construct. Okay, I think if I just float the mana from the Urza Saga this turn, I should be able to go for Kappa Cannoneer, so let's do that. And because I don't know exactly what they're doing, they have enough of them out at this point, I would imagine. So I think we're good to just grab a Shadowspear here, in case it's something where they're going to be pinging us a lot. We can activate this, get back a Mox Opal this time. Cast the Mox Opal. That gives us enough there. Let's go ahead and uptick the Tamiyo again. We can fetch for a basic. And then thinking real quick, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we should be able to untap the Emry, get back a 0-drop, and then we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, let's just go ahead and get back something else here. Get back a Mishra's Bauble. Cast the Mishra's Bauble. And then now we go for the Kappa Cannoneer. Okay, took a lot of math to get there, but we got there. Now we gotta worry about what the opponent's doing next turn. So shields are down, except for a big turtle. Let's see what the opponent has. Ooh, Mystic Forge. That's a problem. So here, they're going to just be able to keep casting cards off top with the Mystic Forge. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pause it here and then speed through if the combo is going to be long. Okay, I think opponent fizzled in the middle of their combo there. Okay, so we draw Cori-Steel Cutter. I can grab back Unholy Heat to hit the Glaring Flesh Raker here. It doesn't solve the problem about all these 3/3s. We could grab Mishra's Bauble to try to find some type of answer during the opponent's turn. Let's go ahead and crack these Mishra's Baubles. Play the Cori-Steel Cutter. Trigger Kappa Cannoneer. We'll get back one of the baubles here. Cast the bauble. Trigger Cori-Steel Cutter. Go ahead and do the Mishra's Bauble thing again. And then the question is if we want to go for it even another time. Go ahead and down tick. Get back an Unholy Heat. Go ahead and cast that Unholy Heat. And then I'm trying to figure out how to just not die to the Skittering Precursors attacking me right now. So maybe we just have to hope for some lucky draws here. I think maybe we should have been using this a little earlier, using our mana a little more wisely. We could attack for 7, but I don't think... Oh, wait, we could just Shadowspear here. Let's Shadowspear. And then I think this might be able to gain us a good chunk of life. And because we're not going to be able to block with the Monk token anyways, we'll go ahead and attack with the Monk token as well. I was just going to block with some spawns. Okay, now they need to kill us during their turn, or we kill them during our turn. So on to them. We're going to draw some cards in their upkeep here. Okay, we drew Mishra's Bauble and Emry. Not really the most impactful cards here. Metallic Rebuke's not really that impactful either, considering it's counted unless they pay 3, and they've got, let me count it here, 1, 2, 3, 1 million mana. So let the Malevolent Rumble go. They're just grabbing a Mox Opal here. Okay, they get the Ancient Stirrings off top with Mystic Forge. Okay, there's Chromatic Star. Okay, there's a Glaring Flesh Raker. Think we gotta figure out what to do about that. Maybe unwise of me there, because now we're just dead to that. Yeah, I messed up. Okay, maybe opponent won't notice. I think definitely we weren't supposed to counter there. I should have just held back. Because if they whip off top here, then we're just okay anyways. Or we would have been okay. Now we're dying with the Skittering Precursors. Another Mox Opal. Let's just see as much of the opponent's deck as possible here. Okay, and there's a K command for 6, which will kill us. Yep, alright, we're dead. Alright, let's see what we've got for them in the sideboard. Alright, here, I think it's a little weird, but I think we're going to cut 2 Kappa Cannoneer, 2 Thoughtcast, a Tormod's Crypt, an Aether Spellbomb, and a Repeal to bring in Force of Negation, Miscast, 3 Fire Magic, and 2 Vandal Blast. Also, this would have been a great matchup for Consigned to Memory to come in, but unfortunately we didn't have the budget for the Consigned to Memories in the deck because of my MTG ticks limit. But if you're playing this in paper, definitely play the Consigned to Memories. And yeah, just what we're hoping for here. Tons of interaction for the opponent. And we'll just have to find a way to get there against them eventually. So if we can stop their game plan, we can enact ours eventually. And I think here we are just going to Mishra's Bauble turn 1. Because I do think we're looking for at least another land here. Okay, we find a Fire Magic. Okay, opponent just goes for Chromatic Star here. Okay, perfect. The kind of thing we're looking for here. Urza Saga. And then, while it's tempting to Vandal Blast this, they do go ahead and draw from it. What we could do is repeal it. Go ahead and draw a card, which I think I'm pretty tempted to do here. Okay, and we get a Tamiyo. We really need that next land off top. Or I would even settle for a Mox Amber if we have to. Okay, there's an Eldrazi Temple. And is this the precursor? It's the Glaring Fleshraker, okay. Oh, man. Should have kept up the Unholy Heat. Okay, opponent's popping off here. And now they got a Mox Opal. Into Malevolent Rumble. Let's see what all they've got off the Rumble. What they end up taking? Chooses Chromatic Sphere, which they already cast. Okay. This is the opponent's turn 2. Or if we can find land here, maybe we Fire Magic. Okay, opponent finally finished there. Land? Land? Ugh. Bauble. Yeah, I think we do have to Bauble. And then, also, I think we do have to go ahead and Unholy Heat this Glaring Fleshraker here. And it is the win con of the deck at the end of the day. Here there was also the argument for holding up Metallic Rebuke, but... what are they doing here? Okay, K command for X equals 1. So make a spawn, scry 1, draw. Opponent's basically getting to refill their hand here, while also getting some selection. Did they keep it on top or bottom? Oh, they kept it on top, so that's going to be a problem for us. Let's go ahead and Mishra's Bauble the opponent. They're getting Tormod's Crypt, that's not too big of a problem for us. Alright, and we're shielded down again here, so opponent's got free reign to do whatever they want with their turn. They've got 5 cards in hand, and they can still draw off the Chromatic Sphere. They've also got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... upwards of 7 mana. They have another artifact, which we know they do. We know they have a Tormod's Crypt. Okay, here's a K command for X equals 3. Puts 2 to top, so definitely some things the opponent wants here. Say, if anything, their deck does have consistency. Okay, there's the Mystic Forge. So now let's see how lucky opponent can get just pulling off a bunch of stuff off top. We do have the Vandal Blast for the Mystic Forge, but They've got free reign this turn. Oh, they don't even exile the top. They're just passing it to us. Interesting. So here we're going to float. Go for a Mox Amber. Go ahead and use the colorless on Shadowspear. Play the Tamiyo here. Try to cycle with the Repeal here. Could be a problem if they have removal for Tamiyo somehow. Okay, we get a Mox Opal. It's kind of like a land. And then we can cast Vandal Blast on the Mystic Forge here now. Fortunately, we don't quite get to hold up Metallic Rebuke anymore, but we do still have the Unholy Heat up. Okay, here's a Glaring Fleshraker. Oh, you know what? No, we don't have the Unholy Heat up. Oh, no. Yeah, because the Mox Amber does not tap for red. It only taps for blue here. Oh, man, okay. I might just be able to ping us down with Glaring Fleshraker this turn. They can cycle enough of these stars and spheres. Okay, looks like opponent finished off there. Okay, we find another land. Let's just go ahead and Unholy Heat this before anything else. Let's attack the opponent. Make a clue. And then we'll sack that clue during the opponent's turn. And now we actually get to keep up Fire Magic and Metallic Rebuke here. Okay, opponent gassed out. They're passing it back to us. Let's grab a Thundering Falls here. Nah, we're probably good on mana now. We've got 4 mana. Let's crack this. Okay, island anyways. Okay, now this is where we can probably get some use out of an Urza Saga. So we'll attack with Tamiyo again, just make the treasure, then pass to the opponent. The Metallic Rebuke's actually really not doing much for us, because the opponent's got more than enough mana to go for pretty much whatever plays they want. Okay, speaking of Urza Saga, opponent found an Urza Saga of their own. So let's just keep getting value out of these clues. Lay the Scalding Tarn. Attack with the Tamiyo. Two, three, four, five, six. We actually have enough to, like, fully go for the fire magic here. We'll just keep letting it be the opponent's go, though. Okay, here's a Glaring Fleshraker. They're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they've got enough here to pay for it. So we'll allow it this time. And then probably at the first thing that they cast, we'll go ahead and fire magic the Glaring Fleshraker. This is their last card in hand, yeah. Go ahead and cast the Glaring Fleshraker. Deal 2 damage to each creature. Get rid of that Glaring Fleshraker. Okay, here we know the opponent doesn't have anything. We'll go ahead and make the construct. We'll take as little damage as we can here, right? 0 cards in hand, nothing in graveyard. Alright, let's make another one. Here, we'll just grab a Mishra's Bauble, take a free draw. Okay, they're just getting land next turn. Speaking of, we'll play our Scalding Tarn out. Go ahead and equip here. Start getting in on the attacks. And we'll play out another Mox Opal just in case here. Depends on what we draw off of the Mishra's Bauble here. They make their own construct. Okay, we just draw Minamo. It makes another construct. And grabs a Chromatic Star. Okay, it doesn't look like the opponent has anything here, so let's crack Clue. Okay, Force of Negation's interesting. Let's just go ahead and get another land out of the deck. Toward the beginning, we were really hurting for lands. Now we're just fine on them. Okay, another Urza Saga for us. Let's... So they can actually double block here and kill, but I think I'm fine trading Construct for Construct here. Let's play out the Urza Saga. Go on the attacks first. Okay, an opponent does see the double block here. Yeah, we'll allow it. Yeah, damage like that's fine. Let's go ahead and crack one clue token. Okay, Metallic Rebuke. If we want to here, we could go ahead and flip Tamiyo. It does put us into a little bit of a weird position where we can uptick. This will be at 4 attacks. So we don't really ever get to down tick it. Yeah, we'll just pass to the opponent here. Okay, opponent attempts to go for Glaring Fleshraker. Let's crack Clue token here. Maybe we can find an answer to it. Not an answer to the Glaring Fleshraker, but we do have an answer to the token now. Okay, just land from the opponent. Let's get rid of this construct. Alright, let's play Minamo. We'll attack out. I meant to equip Shadowspear. Oh well. I think we probably have this game. Opponent's also super low on time here. Okay, no blocks. Make a dude. And then on to the opponent. Okay, opponent concedes it there. Here I think we're just cutting a miscast and bringing in a Torpor Orb. It might even be the consideration to actually cut one of our Metallic Rebukes to bring in yet another Torpor Orb too. Because there's a point in the game where against them, Metallic Rebuke just doesn't do anything. And we sat there with a Metallic Rebuke in our hand last game for basically the entire game. Okay, this is fine. We'll keep. Chrome Star from the opponent. Just go ahead and Bit Shock. Make sure our mana's figured out. Oh, can't quite go for that yet. Mox Amber. Mishra's Bauble. Emry. We did find a Cori-Steel Cutter in the graveyard. Let's just go ahead and cast that other Mishra's Bauble. Actually, maybe we were supposed to save that for next turn. Whoopsie daisy. I'm sure we'll be fine. We'll actually save this Repeal here to do more damage with the Cori-Steel Cutter. Let's go ahead and Bauble the opponent. Okay, that's pretty good for him. We know they're not playing Hand Disruption. We'll go ahead and go for the second one and pass it to them. Okay, we draw Fire Magic Mox Opal. They find an Eldrazi Temple. And just passing it on to us, suspicious. Let's target the Cori-Steel Cutter here. Okay, opponent casts K command X equals 1 to exile the Cori-Steel Cutter and scry and draw 1. Yeah, that happens. Alright, so that is what it is. Let's go ahead and cast out the Mox Opal then. Let's go ahead and just cycle with Repeal then. Oh, whoops. Gotta do it to the Mox Amber. Okay, we just get back that. Let's go ahead and play out the Torpor Orb. And onto the opponent. Okay, opponent cycles through their deck some there. Okay, we get Scalding Tarn. Let's go ahead and grab back a Mishra's Bauble. See what we can get from the opponent. They're getting a Chromatic Store. Onto them. Okay, we find a Metallic Rebuke. Sick. Okay, here's a Glaring Fleshraker here. We'll go ahead and counter that. Chromatic Star incoming. I think we're just grabbing Thundering Falls here. Oh no, opponent's gonna go cycling. Okay, Thundering Falls time. We'll actually put that in the graveyard here. Okay, we've got a Vandal Blast now. We can probably hold off till next turn to cast the Vandal Blast. Let's just get back the Mishra's Bauble, keep drawing. And then on to the opponent. Makes a construct. Oh, and here's a second one. Okay. And on to us here. Find land. Let's go ahead and search. Grab an island. Let's go ahead and cast the Vandal Blast with Overload. Oh, you know what? We probably should have went for the Emry play here first. So now they get to fire off their Tormod's Crypt. I don't think they would have minded us getting back a Mishra's Bauble, maybe. Or what I could have done is just refill my graveyard with an Emry. Nah, I definitely messed up here. Alright, so let's cast the Mox Opal. Keep this one. Cast an Emry. Keep this one. Oh, I forgot. No ETB. Never mind. We didn't mess it up that bad. Drowsy Temple for the opponent. I don't think they're looking for lands here. Oh, shit. Maybe they are. There's Nimmercool. Oh man, and if we had gone a card deeper, we could have went for the Metallic Rebuke. Okay, that's not going to be enough to kill an Emrakul. On to the opponent. Oh, that opponent concede? Oh no, they ran out of time. Oh. And I would have liked to see what our next draw was. If we found like Otawara or something, we could have bounced this and then countered it maybe, but GG opponent, GG. Alright, we're on the draw here. Both of us kept 7. Hands are a little sketchy, but we do have Cori-Steel Cutter, Mishra's Bauble for turn 2. Oh, and we see a Tamiyo. Interesting. Now instead we can go for slightly different play here. Alright, on to the opponent. We'll just go for Thundering Falls here instead. Okay, they too have an Urza Saga. A Mox Opal for them. Well, you might be in the mirror match here. Oh yeah, we're in the mirror match here. Here, we're just gonna go ahead and do this, that way we can F6. We'll actually put that on top for now. Oh, that was the last thing for the opponent? Okay. So... Urza Saga here. Let's... Cori-Steel Cutter. Let's Mishra's Bauble. Trigger. Tormod's Crypt. Trigger. And then we can go ahead and attack with the Monk token here. And then something we can do here... Actually just hold off and go for Kappa Cannoneer next turn. And that might be what might be the deciding factor in this game. So we'll let them get back their Tormod's Crypt. We're not too concerned about that. Okay, so if we go Mountain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a Kappa Cannoneer. Is there anything else we can do to maybe double spell this turn? So Repeal draws, we play that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So unless we find a land or a 0-drop artifact, just take the safe route. Go for the Kappa Cannoneer here. Hopefully no Metallic Rebuke. Oh, this feels like a Metallic Rebuke. Yeah. Nope, not much we can do about that. So we'll just attack in for 2 here. Nope, we're not even doing that. Alright, on to the opponent then. Yeah, I was about to say, I think it's right for them to go for the Aether Spellbomb. Makes our Urza construct a lot worse. Ugh. Okay, so now we're having to deal with a lot here. So here, what we could do is just float the mana, go for a Cori-Steel Cutter, repeal their construct token. Yeah, let's just float here. And then now I've got to debate, is it better to go for Shadowspear, or is it better to go for Mox Opal? I think we're going to try to Mox Opal here. So let's play out the Cori-Steel Cutter. Let's go for Repeal on their artifact. Trigger our Coris. Okay, we found a Minamo. We can play out Minamo. Now we can cast Thoughtcast. Okay, now we have Kappa Cannoneer number 2. Alright, let's go in on the attacks. And then whenever they target this turn with Emry, we can sacrifice the Tormod's Crypt. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Might just keep holding the Mishra's Bauble here. Okay, opponent finds their next land. Okay, here's a Cori-Steel Cutter of their own. Okay, they Tormod's Crypt us. A little unfortunate for the Emry. So they try to get back their Tormod's Crypt. Let's just Tormod's Crypt them. Okay, they preordain. Mox Opal for them as well. Okay, no attack on theirs. Oh, opponent goes ahead and concedes it there. Alright, let's see what we've got in the sideboard. Trying to figure out what to cut here. Y'all let me know what you would cut. Alright, I'm not sure if this is the right play, but I think just bringing in 2 Vandal Blasts and a Force of Negation, cutting 2 Thoughtcast and a Mox Amber might be right. I know that they're primarily blue deck. Mystical Dispute maybe should come in, but they're normally casting their blue spells turn 1. I think this is a completely reasonable keep, yeah. Sand does kind of make us choose between whether we want to Cori-Steel Cutter maximize turn 2, or if we do want to hold up turn 1 Metallic Rebuke, though. Mishra Baubles us. So no matter what, we lead off Spirebluff here. Do we want to hold up the Metallic Rebuke? They're probably going to flip the Tamiyo next turn. Which we could return the Tamiyo. You know what? No, we're just going to set up for the Cori-Steel Cutter play. Okay, so they flip their Tamiyo. And plays a second Tamiyo. Okay. That does make our Cori-Steel Cutter a bit worse. Let's just play this, play out the Cori-Steel Cutter. Play out Mishra's Bauble. And then we could pump this to 3 here, but it's going to go back down to 2, and so it can just be blocked by the Tamiyo anyways. So here we're just going to Bauble opponent and then pass it to them. We Bauble during our turn just because we do have access to Force of Negation, which we did not draw. If we can find a wizard, these Flame of Anors might be able to provide us a lot of value against the opponent. Speaking of Flame of Anor, there goes our token on our Cori-Steel Cutter. And opponent gets back their Flame of Anor with the Tamiyo. We don't find our 3rd land or a legendary. So we could bounce the Tamiyo back to their hand. Or just hold up Metallic Rebuke. I think we're better off just holding up Metallic Rebuke here. On to the opponent. Or maybe there we were supposed to repeal their clue token while they were tapped out, and then draw a card, see if we could find a land. That was probably the better play there. Okay, opponent didn't cast anything for us to Metallic Rebuke. So let's just float a mana here. I think we might have to grab Mox Opal here, just so we get some mana. And awkwardly enough, we still don't have enough artifacts for the Mox Opal to matter, so let's... find out whether we still draw a token if they sacrifice their clue. I think because it's on separate lines, you just resolve as much as you can. No, you do not. Okay. Well, learning opportunity. Yeah, let's just... it's not over till it's over. Pass it to the opponent. Nah, it's probably over. Let's go to game 3. I think we flubbed this one a little bit. Let's just run it back here. So we're on the play. I think we're gonna have a meh hand here. We'll mulligan. Ugh. Alright, I guess we're going to 5. Bro, come on now. 4 it is. Yeah, we'll keep it. Let's see. We want to keep land, saga, opal, Cori-Steel Cutter. Man, what a brutal way to end off the league. Yeah, mulligans are what's going to keep us from 5-0ing here. Yep, there's a Tamiyo. Grab our Thundering Falls here, see what we can find. Tamiyo's not bad, but we're going to need another land. I think we're going to be leaning on this Urza Saga pretty hard here. Okay, let's just go for the Cori-Steel Cutter, go for the Mox Opal. And unfortunately, this Tamiyo is also just going to be too big for us to even attack through, so we'll probably just pass it back to them here. Okay, our token gets repealed. Okay, a land? Not quite. Okay, repeal's still not bad here, so what we can do is we can go for Cori-Steel Cutter. No, we won't. And now we can't even repeal anymore because we don't have the mana off Mox Opal up. Our Urza Saga is gonna die next turn now without ever making a construct. Yeah, having the mulligan to 4 was just like absolutely brutal here. Yeah, opponent's got all their things going off here. Okay, let's just float a mana. Go ahead and make their thing. We'll grab and... what do we even grab here? Aether Spellbomb? Probably. Let's cast Repeal on the construct. Okay, another Repeal. We'll play the Mishra's Bauble. Okay, we could repeal the Tamiyo here. I think we're just trying to find like another Urza Saga or something. Okay, opponent has Unholy Heat for our guy. And then we're a bit away from the Emry, so let's go ahead and just see if maybe they give us something to Force of Negation. Okay, well there's their land drop. They make Construct. And they have another Urza Saga. They grab an Aether Spellbomb themselves. Replay out the Tamiyo, crack a clue. Now it's on to us. Okay, if we can eventually work toward this Vandal Blast, we might be in an okay position. Let's just lead off with the Emry to start, though. And then what we can actually do is go ahead and... This is cost 2, right? Yeah, shock this in. And then we can equip the Emry to go ahead and get back something now. Let's get back... So... We can get back Amber next turn, or if we get back Amber this turn... So if we want to let them go ahead and do some more with that, we'll go for the Mishra's Bauble here. Cast the Mishra's Bauble. This will trigger this, say yes. And then we'll just bauble the opponent and then pass to them. If we want to, next turn we could overload Vandal Blast. I kind of want to wait till my opponent finishes off the last chapter of that saga there, but it might not be up to us. Might depend on how much damage they're throwing at us. Never mind, our Tamiyo's gone. And our Cori-Steel Cutter. Let's buy time here. Before they get Shadowspear. We'll play the Steam Vents tapped. And then if we can find an artifact off top next turn, we can go for the Vandal Blast. Fortunately, opponents built up a big enough board that we are forced to just return one of these to hand now. But we'll keep fighting. It's not over till it's over. So it's feeling pretty close to over. Okay, they flip their Tamiyo. It's upticked. There's an Amber. That makes me feel like they're keeping up Metallic Rebuke here. Okay, we can kill the Tamiyo, but that doesn't fix our problem about these constructs here. Actually, what we can do is we can take out both the constructs here. Fortunately, we can't overload, but we can kill one of the constructs. And then Unholy Heat the other one. And on to the opponent. We'll stop fighting when we're dead. Opponent grabs back a Flame of Anor here. Plays out another Tamiyo. So now they've got up flame mana. They sacrifice the Fiery Islet to draw. Now they're just passing it back off to us. Whew, a little late for Metallic Rebuke. Alright, opponent's got the mana for the Cori-Steel Cutter. Alright, here's Emry. Emry lands, somehow. I mean, they've got Flame of Anor. Flame of Anor. Anor. Okay, Vandal Blast from the opponent. Unfortunately, turns off our Metallic Rebuke. Goes the Flame of Anor. And then any other spell means we're dead here. Actually, they can just equip Shadowspear. Let's just see if they see the kill. Yeah, no, we're dead now. Alright, GG, opponent. And here it is, the Killing Blue. Alright, welcome back everybody. 4-1, not too bad. We made it up to the 5-0 table and then just didn't quite get there. We did lose in the mirror, so me and another player both made it to the 4-0 table, going for the 5-0 there at the very end. So maybe Cori-Steel Cutter or Izzet Steel Cutter is a little bit better of a deck than I originally thought. If I were to play this deck again, I do think the Thoughtcasts get cut for Preordains. Kappa Cannoneer felt pretty good. I think at 1 or 2 it's just fine, especially considering we've got it with Emry. Though sometimes it does kind of stay in our hand longer than we'd like, because this deck is playing less artifacts than typical Affinity decks. The sideboard, I really did wish that we had the 3 or 4 consigns there. Torpor didn't get to see a lot of play, but we also didn't run into any Blink decks. Honestly, the decks that we did kind of run against were not as meta as we typically see. But, you know, sometimes that'll happen with variation. But yeah, all in all, pretty solid deck. I think I still prefer regular Affinity over this, but I could definitely see some people having different playstyles and preferring something like this. The deck worked very well, very highly synergistic. The pieces work together very well. And yeah, that's just going to be it for the wrap-up. Thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe, comment what deck you want to see me play next, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace out.